How are we going, folks? Welcome back to the Nightmare Cabin. We are doing an album review, and tonight we are talking about this interesting new release from Thin Lizzy. Regular viewers know Thin Lizzy is one of my favourite bands. To the new to the channel, welcome aboard. But do we need an introduction? Well, everyone knows Thin Lizzy at this point, don't they? So, what can I say about them? But I guess for the uninitiated, the Thin Lizzy that we know and love came from the Scott Gorham and Brian Robinson incarnation of the band, sort of Mark II, shall we say. And obviously with different lineups and that reunion or reboot with Ricky Warwick from The Almighty on vocals, which then went on to record new albums under the, what were they called? Black Star Riders. The Thin Lizzy catalogue is, back in the public consciousness, really, and all the hits are flying around. But the original lineup, the original three-piece, so Phil Lynott, Brian Downey on drums, the two main, but Eric Bell was the guitarist on the first three albums, and so you got the original self-titled Thin Lizzy, then second album Shades of a Blue Orphanage, and then Vagabonds of the Western World. And it does seem, as of late, that period of the band has sort of, taken a back seat and sort of faded into the background. And in a kind of weird way, they were a separate band. Like the band we know and love now did kind of start on the fourth album. But these are great albums, and they're great albums for when you're not quite sure what you're in the mood for. You just know you fancy something different, and they're great albums to explore because they're quite varied, and it's quite interesting to listen to because these albums are a band, especially the first two albums, where the band haven't quite found their groove yet. They're throwing everything at the wall and still finding out what they're good at. They kind of come into their own on Vagabonds of the Western World. Obviously, their big hit, so to speak, or their breakthrough hit was their version of Whiskey in the Jar, which is actually a B-side. But Eric Bell left the band, Thin Lizzy regrouped as a two lead guitarist band, and then went on with different lineups and so on and so forth. So with this, you've got Eric Bell revisiting 9 songs from this period, but re-recording guitar, but an acoustic guitar. And it's still got Phil's original vocal tracks and Brian Downey's drums when they're used. And so it's an interesting listen, and it's like all releases like this, it results vary, but it's worthwhile. It's a worthwhile listen. It's a worthwhile endeavour. Let's read this hype sticker. So this might explain it a bit quicker. A concept-driven acoustic album featuring original vocals from Phil Lynott, new guitar recordings from founding member Eric Bell, includes the first ever acoustic version of the legendary Whiskey in the Jar. So, yeah, is it any good? Yeah, absolutely it is. It's nice hearing these songs stripped back as well. So the opening track, Mama Nature Said, that original track's got quite a bit of a weird sort of wiry sounding solo going over the top, like a slidey, sort of solo, like lead going over the top. That's gone, and it's nice. It's just nice having this like strumming acoustic guitar, and then you've just got Phil's vocals. So it's like when you see those documentaries and they isolate a song where it's just the vocal track, and it's a little bit like that. Phil's vocals are right up front on this recording, and he's got quite a rough, raspy vocal on this one. It sounds really good, really raw, and just the stripped back guitar works really well. A Song for While I'm Away was always a beautiful song. It just feels a little bit like this, like the drums have just been turned down. I don't really know what Eric's added to this, and it's mainly Phil's vocals and the orchestra arrangement. But it's a nice version of the song, but I'm not. Yeah, it doesn't feel like an alternative to the original version, particularly. I suppose if you just wanted to, it's more like a different mix. I don't know really what he's re-recorded on that one. Not that it's bad, it works, but it's good. But I wasn't quite. Yeah, it just feels like it's a more stripped down version of the original song because there's drums and there's a bit, probably a little bit too much going on the original version. So yeah, to strip it down, that's probably what they had in mind there. Eerie, I'm not sure how you pronounce this one. Eire, fantastic. This is what this album was done for, to give us a new version of a song. Like, so the third track is where it really hits the nail on the head. Beautiful song. It always was a beautiful song, but it just, you just picture being in this sort of cozy, old candlelit pub in a nice hilly sort of country setting where maybe a part of the country that hasn't been touched by modernity as much, and you got like a nice beautiful sunset in the background, where the sky's all purple and pink, and you're having a pint in a like a cozy dark little pub. It's that and the whiskey in a jar really that goes for. But most notably as well is Dublin, the again a very stripped down version of Dublin, without the bell rings and all the rest of it, but a real sort of beautiful cozy little song. Both these takes, I would even I'd think with Eerie and Dublin, you would possibly, it may even supersede the original versions really. Slow Blues is a good song. You got a track on Here I Go Again, which is from the Vagabonds of the Western World sessions, but isn't actually on the album. It might be on a extended edition of the album though. Maybe it was a B-side or something like that. But I'm second guessing myself here. No, it's definitely not. It's definitely not on here. Slow Blues we spoke about. Yeah, that's a good stripped back version of that as well. I'm glad I got the box set edition of this, because this is old copy. It's just falling up to pieces. But and then obviously you got the Whiskey in the Jar, which we all know and love. It's nice. It's weird hearing, because where I was saying about Phil's isolated drums earlier, here it's like it's Brian's isolated drums. His drums are really predominant on this, and you can really concentrate on the drum patterns he plays on that. And it's just, even on a song like that, he's just all over the kit, and his drum patterns are so complex and clever. Shades of the Blue Orphanage as well, lovely little song. And then it closes with Remembering Part 2. It's not a very long album at all, but yeah, it's definitely worth getting, and it's worth a listen. I think this is for Thin Lizzy fans though. This is distinction level of your assignment, sort of, so to speak. It's a completion piece. I don't think this is a release for casual fans, but then again, I think if you mix this, if you put a Thin Lizzy playlist and mix these in, it would blend quite nicely. Again, it's a perfect soundtrack to just having a chill out. But yeah, it gives a nice new take. It puts the songs under a new shade, so to speak. And but again, it just goes to show, when you're listening to these songs, when they're just slightly remodeled, just how much, just what great songwriters they were, and how these songs work brilliantly because they can be added to or stripped down. And Phil Lynott, he died 4 years before I was born, and still I'm just like amazed at these songs and these lyrics and these vocal takes. And yeah, I'm glad I got it. It's a good way to start off the year. I love the artwork as well. You don't get too much. Yeah, that's about it really. There's no booklet or anything like that. There's loads of editions though, all different vinyl. There's a black and white CD as well, where the artwork's black and white. I mean, I think you need the colour though, don't you? You can get it on Blu-ray as well. Yeah, bit overboard. Don't think you need all that, but I mean, I suppose one could argue as well, like this just could have been a part of a box set as a bonus disc or something like that. But do we really need another box set? It's there if you want it, and there if you ignore if you don't. But it's good to see Eric Bell still plugging away as well. I'd like to. I always mean to try and catch him really, and I'd like to see him in a nice small venue, doing a nice blues set with a bit of folk maybe. But yeah, it was good. Nice addition to the collection. Nice little completion piece, a nice little afterthought to the back catalogue. Nice thing to finish it off, and it's nice to see this back catalogue is still, you know, enlightening people's imaginations. I suppose if that sounds a bit poncy, but it's still this back catalogue is still worth investigating even after all this time. And yeah, if anything that sheds light on these three little gems is a worthwhile endeavour. And yeah, a great little piece to dive deeper into the Thin Lizzy catalogue, and a nice addition to the collection. So, right, that's it, folks. That's all for now. I'll be back in the week. We're going to be starting a new series, and you'll find out about that soon enough. And I'll see you all later. Thanks.